You actually talked about that in next episode.
Let me start that just section.
Yeah.
Just going to do that. So Yay, you're here. Welcome to How to Be a Grown-Up with CK and GK. Let's get started.
Pardon me, but may I alert you that it is Tuesday?
You get me every time. I never know how you're going to do this. I'm always surprised. Oh, welcome back, guys. It's good to have you here. This is How to Be a Grown-Up, the show that teaches you the things that grown-ups need to know how to do. Yeah? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we are talking about teaching kids to have good manners. Personally, this is something I really struggle with, not because I don't want my child to have manners, but because he's rude or anything like that, because he's not. Because I am self-conscious about his manners. Like,
oh, wait, you make it about you?
Yes, of course. Who doesn't?
That sounds like me.
It's always about me. Are you kidding? I'm just on high alert about how I'm perceived by other people. It's just a self-consciousness issue, and manners are a big part of that, but I'll get into all of that in just a minute. So first, before we do that, we got to introduce each other.
With me today is Caitlin.
Hi.
Who's not Emily Post. She's Emily the Most.
Oh, I like that one. It's very apropos. This is Jenny, my majestic soaring condor.
Wow. I have seen the condor.
Have you?
Yes. So at the San Diego Wild Animal Park, which is not the zoo, it's the one out in the hills that's like more natural enclosures. They have a condor enclosure.
Oh, cool.
And they're like one of the organizations responsible for like bringing condors back to nature. But they're huge.
They're really big. So my sources for today are an article, of course, by Emma Singer, who I adore, on PureWow, and she has some additional support from Suzanne Zuckerman, and they interviewed a mental health expert named Jennifer Kelman. She's a clinical social worker, and she's got a lot of good credentials that you can check out on the article. The article is called How to Teach Kids Manners, Parenting Tips for Polite Kids, according to a child therapist. So I actually read through this article several times, just trying to make sure that I agree with everything that I saw there, as you and I do as we vet the sources.
Right.
I liked everything on this list. I didn't really like how it kind of jumped around from one thing to another thing. So I rearranged the order of how this works just to categorize a few things, and I'll go through each of those in just a second. But I want to start by saying, I think we've gone over this before. You know, Sam has like affirmations that we say every day.
Right.
So we always start with, be nice to each other, or be nice to people around you, be kind, right? Listen to your teacher, listen to your body. And then there's a couple other ones. Be nice to everyone, try, stuff like that. Okay. I can do hard things like that. So one of them is be nice to everyone. And I think that having good manners falls under that rule.
Absolutely.
I've always maintained that manners really do two things. One, they help you feel comfortable around other people, and help others feel comfortable around you.
Okay, so here's the science behind that.
Yeah?
They're communal expectations, and nothing feels worse than unmet expectations. So when there are rules about how we engage, we know what to expect, and so we feel more comfortable because there's not unknown out there.
Oh.
So like manners are just psychology.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I also think that it's just about respecting other people, right? Like on the surface, it's respect for other people. So
the respect is shown by treating them the way they expect to be treated so that they're not surprised by what you do.
Right. So when I get nervous around new people or settings, or when my son gets nervous around new people or settings, I say things like, if we remember our manners, we're leading with kindness, which is one of our family rules, and everyone feels less nervous when we just lead with kindness, right?
Can we talk about that being one of your family rules?
Yeah.
Because you know that my family rule is we don't waste meat.
We have another one too. It's Marantz eat meat. We also have that
Okay,
rule.
okay.
When my sister said she's like, guys, I think I'm going to be a vegetarian. My other sister goes, what? Marantz eat meat. My favorite lines ever. It cracked me up. But like, no, we just, whenever we're having conversations about, political things or just people being mean to each other, or when people make comments on other people's bodies, we always come back to, this is how we treat others with kindness. Like, we lead with kindness. So that's really what this is about. There are some FAQs that go along with this that I wanted to point out. Yeah. So I'm going to start with those. One is, when should they learn manners? Well, I mean, anyone who's trying to teach a baby to say thank you, like, let it go, right? But think about the natural age of socialization, right? Like, once we get into a situation where there's other people that we are interacting with, that's probably the right time to start doing that. Not infant daycare, not the class for 1-year-olds, but like, when kids are able to speak to one another, and we've moved past the, we don't hit stage, maybe that's a good time to start introducing these things.
Well, and it's one of those things that when you're at that age where you're narrating your day for your kid, that's when you can start to talk about what you're doing. Yep. I'm going to say please, because I know that person appreciates it when I ask kindly.
We get into that, or I will get into that too in just a minute. Okay. But basically, like, those typical kid behaviors that can come off as rude, you can narrate those situations, and that's probably about the right time when you would start this teaching. What manners should kids learn? These are hard because everyone perceives manners differently. So in terms of what manners kids should learn, try not to focus on hard and fast rules. Everybody's manners looks different regionally and all that kind of stuff. So don't commit yourself to hard and fast. Kids need to learn this by this age. Just pay attention to what's actually happening and use it as an opportunity to teach the manner, as opposed to, okay, well, first we're going to talk about thank you, and then we're going to talk about please. Like, that doesn't work for anybody. Then the last one is, what do I do when kids forget their manners? Forget. Air quotes around the word forget. Just remember that I said manners are about, like, your own or my own discomfort, right? I think one of the first things you need to do is own that discomfort, right? Like, you're embarrassed that your kid forgets their manners. It's not your kid isn't embarrassed that they forgot their manners. You as the parent are embarrassed that they forgot their manners.
Right.
So I think owning that and then trying to stay calm, and then either some sort of apology to whoever needs to hear it or whatever is probably appropriate, but then don't come down on your kid in that moment. Just find an opportune time to talk about it. And we'll get to that in just a second. Okay. Actually teaching manners. Again, I've categorized these for my own self to make sense of it. So start with yourself when you're coming to this whole teaching manners topic. 1, be a role model. Do not command your child to say and do specific things like say please and thank you, but instead model the behavior that you wish to see. We've talked about this over and over and over again on this show. And especially as teachers, we know modeling the behavior that you wish to see is going to be the best way to get this started.
And it creates buy-in.
Absolutely.
It's right. I'm not asking you to do something that I'm not going to do.
That I wouldn't do myself. Exactly. So when you do that, you're also opening the door for conversation about the value of manners, right? Making other people feel comfortable. Instead of just parroting you by saying please and thank you because mom said say please, say thank you, or doing it just because you told them to. So along those lines, don't force good manners. They won't get used if you're not around, if you try to force them, right? That very common, what do you say? Or, oh, that was so nice of Aunt Blanche. She gave you a lollipop. Say thank you. That's not teaching. You think it is, but it's not. It's forcing. So there's 2 problems with that. One, why do your kids clean up around the house? Because you told them to. over and over and over again. Not because they actually care that it's clean, not because they see the value of cleaning up. So just like when you don't tell them to, they don't clean up, right? Same thing here. When you force manners, you tell them that they have to say please or say thank you. They won't use them when you're not around. Just like they don't clean up unless you tell them to.
Oh, wait. They don't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been in Abby's room in 6 months, so I'm not quite sure what it looks like.
That's because she's a teenager.
I think it has carpeting.
Right. You got to stay out of there. That's a teenager's room.
Yeah.
No. 2, you're not giving your child the opportunity to develop that thoughtful and empathetic frame of mind that is the foundation of having good manners, right? So instead of doing the what do you say sort of line, instead you're going to do the polite thing for your child and in front of them. And then later on, you'll have a private conversation at a time and place when your child won't feel embarrassed or ashamed for not using their manners. So for example, wasn't that so nice of Aunt Blanche to give you that lollipop? Did you hear me say thank you to her? That's because I wanted to let her know that you and I appreciated her kindness in giving you that lollipop. It makes people feel good when we show them that we appreciate them, and that can make us feel good too.
Got it.
Yeah. So again, you're modeling and then explaining. The third thing you're going to do is rethink your notion of misbehavior. And this should say, Caitlin, you need to rethink your notion of misbehavior, because misbehavior and age-appropriate things tend to overlap quite a bit here, right? Being obsessed with raising polite kids can actually cause you, me, all of us, to judge our own children for their developmentally appropriate behavior. And judgment has absolutely no place in parenting, whether that's you of another parent or you of your child, right?
Right.
Hands down. When I read that line from the child psychologist, I was absolutely in agreement with that one. So along those lines, judgment doesn't have any place in parenting. Neither does shame. Keep shame out of this. It doesn't work on your kid. And ultimately, the shame that you feel about your child not using their manners needs to be let go of also. Okay? Chances are pretty high that Aunt Blanche didn't even notice that one missing thank you from your kid.
Right.
So let it go. And the other thing is, you know what else? Other parents get it. The ones who don't get it have just shown you that you're not having another play date with them again. The end.
Wow.
It's true. How many parents, I think that that's one of the beautiful things about our generation of parenting is that we're all like, girl, don't worry about cleaning up your house before I show up. I don't care. Because we all understand that this is hard, right? So the parent who's like, your child did not say thank you for the popsicle that I gave him after he got off the trampoline is gonna what? I'm not sending my kid back over to you again. Thanks.
Yeah. Or they're like me and be like, okay, I'm going to give everybody a popsicle. And what are you all going to say when I give it to you?
Right. I'd rather
I give a reminder beforehand.
Right. Okay. So the second little category that we're talking about is front loading. We've talked about this term before. This is my major belief in teaching. It's my major belief in every single thing that I learn and that other people learn. I believe that you need to have the vocabulary in order to be a functioning member of a community, right? So we're going to, with manners, front load the vocabulary. What I mean is pre-teach manners, okay?
Got it.
So that doesn't mean pre-teaching please and thank you. That's not what we're getting at. We're talking about having, first of all, regular conversations about caring for other people, okay? Remember what I said earlier about how manners are about respect? Whenever you can, just have a conversation about how we show kindness and respect to others. If the opportunity arises, say things like, oh, we don't comment on other people's bodies. Or if someone can fix that in 5 minutes, then you can tell them that they have something in their teeth. If they can't fix it in 5 minutes, then we don't say anything about it at all. Right? Stuff like that.
Exactly.
Another way you can front load the vocabulary or pre-teach the manners is play games that teach manners, right? where you're having a situation in which you would be modeling. Pretend play for those younger kids is great here. When they want to play restaurant or house, this is the time to teach the manners, right? You can intentionally model, oh, thank you so much for bringing me my dinner. Meanwhile, it's like, a box of crayons and some tape, but whatever, it's fine. Thank you so much for bringing me my dinner. It's great. Okay. For older kids, you're going to think, what?
This is cold. Will you please bring it back to the chef and tell him to refire it? I said it politely.
Yes, you did. Okay. For older kids, think about other things you might play, like card games, board games, any opportunity that you have to talk about taking turns, being honest, and being a good sport. All of those are good opportunities to teach manners. Again, you're just modeling them. You're not necessarily saying like, well, I passed out these 7 cards to you. It's time for you to say thank you.
Right.
Yeah. You're going to also consider watching TV shows that model good manners. What have we said before? Daniel Tiger can raise my child. Because...
And he did for an entire year.
Less the pandemic.
Thank you, 2020.
Right. Again, this kind of applies to younger kids. Like Daniel Tiger is a younger kid show, but things like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Blippi, Daniel Tiger, they all are great opportunities to teach manners because all of those shows are primarily about being kind to other people, right? So...
And as your kid gets older, just put on Great British Baking Show. They are also kind.
See, I'm starting to like that show. I'm so happy. So happy. He's like, can we watch Great British Baking Show? I'm like, yeah. Which season? 5 through 12.
Nadia's season every year. Nadia's season.
I like Sahul. I mean, Precious.
Understandable.
Yeah,
yes.
Precious. Right. Okay. You can also, again, we're front loading the vocabulary here. We're pre-teaching those manners. Read books that emphasize social and emotional learning because those books are primarily about caring and showing respect for others. So I have a list here. This is just a sample, but these are some of my favorites that we have in our house. So one is The Rainbow Fish by Marcus Pfister. I Am Enough by Grace Byers, which is beautiful. It's like poetry. Oh, I love that book. Jabari Jumps by Gaia Cornwall. I love Jabari Jumps. It is the sweetest little book. The Invisible Boy by Patrice Barton. The Boy with Big, Big Feelings, which is a popular one I've seen around a lot lately, but that one's by Brittany Winley. And one of our favorite series in our house, The Bad Seed, The Good Egg, The Smart Cookie. Those are all great ones.
The Couch Potato?
The Couch Potato is a great
one in our house.
Yep, we do like that one too. And those are all by Jory John, and the illustrator is Pete Oswald, and they're all amazing. So those are some great ones. And that Bad Seed, Good Egg ones, those get really good for older kids too. Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about working on yourself. We've talked about pre-teaching. Now we're going to talk about what happens when you're actually at the event where the manners need to be happening. Where my anxiety just spiked even thinking about this particular category. So when you're at the event, whatever it might be, first of all, most important thing, do not treat your child like they are the third wheel. Why? I want to be here and hang out with adults and talk to adults because this is for adult time. No. This one should be obvious because if you ignore your kid at an event, what will your kid do? They will absolutely...
Oh, they will get your attention.
Find a way to make sure you don't ignore them, right? You already know what that means. In my experience, it means I might be dragging my child out in a football hold. Just saying.
I prefer a fireman's carry.
That's a good one too, but I have been kicked. I have been kneed in the face. So I choose the football. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you are lucky enough to be at an event where there are multiple children, you might encourage some child playtime. However, if it's you and an adult, and then your child is there, you're going to want to find a way to include them in an age-appropriate way in whatever conversation you're having. So if it means that, you're asking them what their favorite color is, great, no problem. But if you can't happen to engage them in the conversation in that moment, I like to put my hand on a shoulder or just kind of color along with my child or something, just so that he knows I'm still there. He still has my attention. he's not forgotten about, even though I'm engaged in a discussion with another adult.
Right. Right. And I think this kind of parlays into the next point you have about the minimizing interruptions, because this is a big thing in our family, is like, there is a way for you to tell me that you need attention that is positive and will get attention.
No. Emergency situations are not what we're talking about here. This is...
Oh, yeah, no, come on.
Yeah.
If there's a dog, like, you need to tell me there's a dog. I want to pet this dog. That's an emergency.
Dog equals emergency. Okay. But in the event that you can't possibly get your child to leave you alone for this conversation, you're going to work on gentle interruption methods. Okay. So my favorite one is having my child just put his hand like on my hand or on my elbow, somewhere on my forearm. He knows that he can touch that part of me, and that means he's got something to say. And then he knows that I will find a break in the conversation and then turn my attention to him in that moment.
We do the same. And it's normally some kind of response of like, okay, I hear you. I know that you need to talk to me. Hang on just a moment while we finish our sentence and I'll come back to you.
Exactly. And I will, even if he's got his hand on me, I will also touch his hand so that he knows I'm aware that his hand is there. And then I can turn to him and I can say, I would love to hear what you have to say. Give me just a minute while I'm talking with this other adult. Give me just one moment and then I will give you my attention. Like, I will come find, or like if it's just, you're going to go play again, you just want to say something. Okay, I will find you when there's a break in this conversation and you can tell me what you wanted to tell me. So a gentle method is best here.
I agree. And again, like if it's standard and it's the same every time, it goes into those expectations. Like your kid knows that this is going to work. It doesn't work if it doesn't work.
Right.
If you ignore the hand or you ignore the bump or whatever it is that you've decided is going to be your nonverbal, I need attention signal. If you ignore that, it doesn't work.
Right.
It has to get attention every single time. Even if it's, like you said, just a tap back on the hand, like, hey, I know you want to talk to me. But you have to respond to it. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Right. That's what I'll usually do is I'll just put my hand, exactly where he's got his hand. I just cover his hand up with mine and he knows I see you. I know you're here. I understand. But you're right, because otherwise it'll escalate. And also you're kind of violating a trust agreement there. If you've said, I will respond to you when I can, and then you don't respond, that's not okay. So that's not going to help anything. Okay, the last one. We've already talked about this before. We were being sneaky about it, but we did already talk about it. And that is praise your child. Okay? Always.
What gets praised gets repeated.
Exactly. Always call out anything you want to see more of from your kid. They put their dishes away, call it out. Right? They say please and thank you. You say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for using your manners. Like, something that gets their attention so that they know that made you happy. Praise goes so much further than scolding or shame does. Okay, so ultimately, remember that manners are about kindness and making other people feel good. When you praise kids, they also feel good. So just keeping that in mind as you work on this whole manners thing is going to be a really, really helpful trick for you. Always praise the things you want to see more of. So we've got 10 things here. We're going to focus on ourselves, okay? We're going to also front load vocabulary and pre-teach the manners. And then at the event, we're going to make sure we pay attention to our kid, but also praise anything we see. So that's a real quick summary, but there are 10 things I've listed here, and I'll put them all on the blog post for this episode so that you can go back and look, and I'll put the original source article so you can read a little bit more about the expert and get some other ideas. So with that,
short break. Be right back. Bye.
For links to resources mentioned in this episode, head on over to ckandgkpodcast.com/blog to find everything you need. And be sure to follow us on social media. Head over to your favorite social media network and find us at CKNGK Podcast. And now, back to the show.
Are we back? We're back.
We're back. Okay.
I touched you on the hand.
You did.
And that's how you
It
know
was a
it's
gentle
fine.
interruption. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any obsessions right now? Of course you do.
Okay, yes.
That's the segment of the show.
I do. So here's the thing. I know that it is post-Christmas.
Okay.
But this year, a few weeks before Christmas, John was like, hey, can I give you your Christmas present early? And I was like, no, you cannot.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I don't like it. I'm like, I know that you're excited about it and that's cute, but like, no, you can't.
Yeah. That's so ADHD,
finally,
by the way, to be like,
right.
I want to surprise you, but I really want to know if you're going to like it right now. So can I give it to you right
now,
now? But or do you want to tell you what it is? Yeah, it's so ADHD.
No. So what he gave me was something that goes with our New Year's Eve tradition. And I've talked about this on the show before. Every year for New Year's Eve, we get all dolled up and we go to a big gala and no, we do not. No, we do not.
No, I
because
know
we are parents of 2 children.
I was about to call you out for lying.
No way that we are going to a gala. No, we watch the Mighty Ducks and drink Sauvignon Blanc.
Perfect.
Because on New Year's Eve of like 2015, we went on a wine tour in New Zealand, and the guy asked us, I know you like Lord of the Rings, which is why you're here, but what is your favorite trilogy of all time? John says, probably Star Wars. And I said, oh, absolutely. Back to the Future, no question. He says, okay, well, mine is Mighty Ducks. And I've never met another person on this planet who first considers Mighty Ducks a trilogy.
It is.
Secondly, would call it the greatest of all time.
Okay, I have a question. Why is yours Back to the Future? Back to the Future 2 is terrible.
It is, but it is the link that is required to have number 3.
Okay, fair. I gotcha.
Because number 2 is bad. He doesn't get the book way too many times.
And like,
let him get the book.
And it makes me uncomfortable. Like, there's scenes in each one of them that make me uncomfortable, right? Like the one with Biff. It's always Biff doing Biff things.
It's always Biff. Yes.
With the mother, but it's still like, okay. As long as I understand.
Have you seen that actor do his bit of like, stop asking me the questions?
Yeah.
And he sings a song and it's always like, what was it working with Michael J. Fox? It was fine.
Yeah. I've seen it.
Are you really that mean? No.
I'm an actor. That's what I do. Gosh. Oh my goodness. Poor guy. But
it's an archetype. Like,
right.
He's supposed to be a bully. That's the whole point of the story.
That's exactly right. A 50s bully, which is like the most stereotypical kind of bully on the planet who gives wedgies. Exactly. And
if
like,
you haven't looked this up, find it. You can just Google "stop asking me the questions" and you'll see it.
And you'll
it's
see
hilarious.
it.
But anyway, so Mighty Ducks.
Right.
So every year after that, we have drank the same bottle of Sauvignon Blanc from the winery that buys grapes from this guy's grandfather.
Okay.
Also, their winery has a restaurant, and we ate there. So
okay,
that's where all of this went down.
There's some sentimental stuff with this. I gotcha.
And we watched the Mighty Ducks.
Perfect.
Well, this year, John got me a Mighty Ducks jersey.
Oh, which one? Which one?
Amazing.
Which one?
Oh, okay. First off, it's Adam Banks.
Okay, that's a good one.
We know was like the linchpin.
Yes.
Right? Like, if Banks hadn't been in District 5, they would not have gone this far.
This is true.
They needed him.
Right. So is it
Secondly,
the green?
It is. Oh, it is green, and it is from the first movie. The weird, like, cartoon duck with D5 on it. Yes.
That's the one.
It is. Yeah, no, it is not the stylized, hey, Disney made a movie, everyone loved it, so they bought a hockey team and moved them to Anaheim and made a cool logo.
No, it needed to be the movie jersey.
No,
but also
it is
movie one.
Movie one.
Yes. Well done, John. Well done.
It's good. It's really good. So I might have worn it a couple of times since then.
Yeah. Why would
in public?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Around dude. Okay, you should.
I dropped Abby off at her friend's house.
Wearing the jersey?
Her friend looks at me. She was like, wow, you're dolled up, aren't you?
Teenagers give the meanest shade. My goodness.
And it just shows like I have a good relationship with this kid. Because remember, I've been her teacher and I've been her friend's mom. And she's spent as many nights here as Abby has over there.
Right.
But it was too funny that she like looked me
Side-eyed.
up and down like, I'm sorry, what do you have on your body right now?
They don't know anything. They don't know the magic that is. And your child is as close to Gen X as possibly could be.
Yeah.
So she knows. But they
she
don't
has
know.
seen Mighty Ducks every year.
Right.
She's watched a lot of Mighty Ducks.
Right. Oh gosh. That reminds me of when we were on the cruise and we wore the bad t-shirts and you actually wore yours for a long time. You guys, my husband got Jenny a shirt.
Oh, it is so good.
That is picture The Mershawn.
No. First you need to know, before you know what picture it is, you need to know that it is a dry fit t-shirt.
Yes, it is like a.
It is not a cotton poly blend like every other t-shirt on the planet.
No.
This is like golf jersey shirt.
Shiny fabric, like bicycle jersey, but like
Yes,
oversized.
that's it. Oversized bicycle jersey is perfect.
Right.
That is the explanation.
Picture the chicken flavor Mershawn Robin packet. Orange, yellow, says chicken, has picture of noodles. That is what this shirt is. I'm not joking.
And nothing else.
And
nothing else. It's not like a picture of the logo and be like, I love ramen. No, it is just the entire shirt is a package of ramen.
It looks like they took the package of ramen, laid it out
and
flat,
made a shirt out of it, and
then
cut
it into a shirt. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah,
yes.
It's hilariously ridiculous. You were not wearing that. You were wearing a Mighty Ducks jersey, and you still got shade. So I think you're the queen of just owning it. That's the thing. And I told my husband this. You were going to own whatever shirt you got. We thought of so many different things. There was an eagle one. There was a majestic, like, eagle in front of a moon. There were a few things. And I was like, it doesn't matter how ridiculous you try to make this shirt. She will find a way to rock it. And what happened? You went out into classes on the boat and got compliments on your Mershawn ramen shirt.
Yep.
So you wear that Mighty Ducks jersey. You would have gotten so many more if you had worn a Mighty Ducks jersey on that cruise, because Disney, people would have been all over that.
Are you kidding me? That Mighty Ducks jersey is coming with me on every vacation I go on for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's amazing. Anyway, my obsession is so much more basic than that. And I don't mean like basic, like, oh my God, she's so basic. I mean, like, I had oral surgery. That was part of why we weren't doing episodes.
Y'all, they took top of her mouth off to put it on another part of her mouth.
It's called gum grafting. It's not fun. I looked like Mrs. Potato Head on one side of my face.
This is like that surgery where they take fat off your belly and put it on your butt. Only here they took
it's
gum
the roof of your
off
mouth.
your roof of your mouth to the side of your mouth.
I've been telling people that my mouth, the inside of my mouth, feels like, you know, at the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when the girl offers the principal a gummy bear and she's like, and they're real warm because they've been in my pocket. Like, that's what it feels like inside my mouth. That's what the roof of my mouth feels like, is a warm gummy bear, but like a sticky one.
No,
it's disgusting. Right.
That's gross.
So part of the healing process is that you can't, it's like wisdom teeth where you can't like have any suction of any sort in your mouth. So I couldn't drink out of a straw, but I can drink out of a straw. Do you know how hard it is when you have an emotional support water bottle and it has a straw and you can't use it? Like, obviously,
what did you have to do? Take the lid off?
Yeah, I had to take the lid off, which is not that big of a deal, right? But
no, it's huge.
Part of the emotional support water bottles that you could just
changing your life.
It really was. I can drink out of a straw again.
For me,
and it's a big deal.
It would not be water bottle with straw. It would be, how do I drink at a restaurant?
Well, and that's the piece of it too. Like, it's not, you're not going anywhere when you have this done because your mouth is like, you're a mess. But
it's a warm gummy bear.
It's a warm gummy bear on the inside. And that's healing. That's how it feels like when it's healing. So that's a good thing, but it just is disgusting. But it's the minor inconveniences that you can't think about. It's like, oh, I really wanted some sparkling water. Oh, guess what? You can't have carbonation because the bubbles can like mess up the grafting process. So like all of this stuff, has been a no-go. So now
we go through a case of sparkling water every 3 days in our family.
Well, and I don't drink it all the time, but I do drink
it. We buy 4 packages every 2 weeks, sometimes more often than that.
Always LaCroix key lime?
Yeah, most of the time. I think right now we also have some strawberry peach.
We do like the mango also at our house. The mango's good too.
And the beach plum is good.
I haven't had that one.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, I'll have to do that.
And then there's that cherry lime one that comes in the tall skinny cans, but that's outside of our price range.
Yeah, not the same thing.
You only get 8.
Right. No. Give me the 12 kit. Anyway, so that's why I'm obsessed with it, because I'm like, my emotional support water bottles are back in my life.
Yay.
I'm so happy. I'm drinking out of my Brigmate now.
Well, and it's going to be beneficial to your skin, more water.
Yes, more. Well, and that's the other thing too, is like you forget like how much I drink out of a straw. Like, and I've been doing it because I
Right.
have sensitive teeth. Like, that's the whole reason for doing it. It helps like the acid not be on the front of your teeth all the time if you drink from a straw. So that's why I've been doing it. So now I can't drink. It's been a mess. So anyway, I'm happy to have straws back because they're wonderful. Do you have any gems?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have talked about the fact that I've hurt my knee,
Yes. Poor thing.
and I'm
so
still in the
sorry.
healing process.
Yeah.
But to help with moving around the house, I have been using one crutch.
Oh, just the one.
Just the one, because I don't really need to like not put weight on it at all. I just need help like stabilizing,
Okay.
because then my knee can definitely hold weight. Like I could stand on one leg if I wanted to.
Sure.
It's the like I don't trust it, and I definitely can't straighten or bend it all the way. It kind of just hangs out at this 120-degree angle all day long.
Oh,
Which has given me really nice calves on my other
I'm
foot.
sure. Yeah. For real.
But I've been walking around with one crutch, and John's been calling me Gandalf. He has walked around behind me in the house playing the Lord of the Rings music
Stop it.
while I hobble
That's
around.
not nice.
Well,
It's not.
we
It's
went on
funny.
vacation.
Okay.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. If it did, he would not do it.
Sure.
No, I think it's funny. And also, this whole injury is funny. I hurt myself jumping up and down. Let's be real.
Yeah, you did.
Not playing a sport, not doing something like crazy athletic or like, oh yeah, I was in the X Games and I hurt myself. No, I was passing out teacher presents and said, Merry Christmas. Oh, that just made a sound. Anyway, we are staying at a hotel recently that has a lot of bridges through the atrium because there's like a river that runs through the hotel.
Okay.
And I'm hobbling along with my one little crutch.
Oh my gosh.
And now my whole family is making fun of me. Oh, come on, Gandalf. Get along. Where's your robe?
Oh.
Well, I stop on one of these bridges. And
No,
in the
you don't.
loudest
No, you
voice,
don't.
yes, I did.
No,
Yes,
you
I
don't.
did.
Oh my god.
I slammed the crutch down and called out, "You shall not pass," as loud as I could in this 7-story atrium, and it echoes through the.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I'm gonna own this, guys.
Yeah, you are.
Just like you said.
Gotta own it.
can't
Own the
outdo me.
discomfort. Right. You can't no. Downward social comparison. That is the name of Jenny's game. I die of embarrassment for her and myself. And yet she's like, no, I'm gonna wear the ramen shirt. I'm gonna be Gandalf on this bridge.
No, I'm seriously considering a cloak. And the deal is, John has said, like, I'll buy you two. You can be Gandalf the Grey until you're healed, and then when you're better, you can be the white, and we'll get you a white coat.
It's too bad that Halloween's over, right? Because this would be a really good Halloween costume.
Well, according to some research, it could be 9 months before I'm back on my feet.
Okay, so perfect.
It might be right in time.
It might be just in time. Perfect. Great. Oh gosh. Oh,
It's all right. It's all right. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like a new little accessory I get to wear all the time.
Yay.
I wonder if they make knee braces in like different colors.
We're gonna bedazzle it.
Right? That joke has already been made too about the cane. Like, if I have to get a cane, you know it's going to be like the flashiest, like
Right.
the most amazing cane ever.
Yeah, get some inspiration from Tom Haverford when he was looking at dragon, serpent.
Yes.
Dragon, serpent.
Right.
Okay, mine is that I compared women's anatomy to a car.
Wait, what?
So my son was having those sex education courses that they do at the end of the term in December in Austin schools, and one day he was like, so like I know like a little bit more about stuff, but like is a woman's body like harder? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, is it just harder to be a girl? Like, is it just harder? And in my head, I'm screaming like, yes!
It is. Yes, it is. Smash that patriarchy right now.
Right. Well, and I think he just meant physically.
No, of course.
But
I know.
the answer is still a resounding yes. Like, yes, it is.
No. That's one of those times where you really have to think about what question is being asked.
Right, exactly.
Am I really going to answer this? No.
Right. But I did, because of course I
yes.
did. So I was like, well, can you, and he's like, I just like, one of my friends who I'm not going to name on the show was like, it's just all the stuff that goes into being a girl. It just seems like a lot. And like, she was like, I don't want to do puberty. And girl, same. Okay. But, you know, Hopefully you do.
If people wanted to do it, they'd give it a better name.
That's a horrible word. I hate that word.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So,
they call it like super happy fun time.
Right.
And middle school would be called awesome school.
Right. It would not suck nearly as much as it does. Anyway, so I was like, well, yeah, it's like, it just kind of needs more maintenance. And he was like, what? And I just went like, like how, like there's just more parts that need to be looked after, and it's harder to get to them because of where they are. It's like when you take your car to the shop and they have to open up the hood and then look inside the engine. And then I think at one point I just went, just stop talking right now, because he's already moved on.
Yeah.
And like, well, I mean, I thought the metaphor worked.
Number one, oh, it totally does.
Yeah.
I drove an F-150 from the 90s for a long time, and you could climb inside that engine block to work on that car.
Oh my gosh.
I did so much maintenance on it myself.
Wow. Good for you.
In the car I drive now, like the whole thing's wrapped in plastic. Like I don't even know where the engine is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I do. I'm not that dumb, but still, like everything is in a container and it's hard to find, and it's not easy to get in there and maintain it.
They do it on purpose. So you have to take it in to get
absolutely.
Serviced.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, the way I normally handle these questions is much like you just did. I just throw all the science in that I can.
Yeah.
And make it as boring and as medicinal as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and use
all the anatomical words.
And just over and over and over again, and just keep nattering until the kid is like, okay, Mom, I'm done. Like,
yeah. Well, and I'm pretty sure he tuned me out.
Everything I told you is true.
Yeah.
It's just really boring the way I presented it.
Right. And I'm pretty sure he tuned me out pretty quickly, but I just, at some point I was just like, why did I do this? Why did I say it like this? Where I'm like, well, and then you have to take it to the shop, and then people who are in there don't always know what they're doing. Sometimes you get an oil leak and blah, blah. I'm just like, why am I talking about this? Just stop talking.
When you get those back tires up in the stirrups, like... This is real.
Oh, car fart. Anyway, so that's what I did. That was my gem. I'm ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Don't do it.
All right, y'all.
It's not good manners.
Yes. When you are thinking about the beauty that is the female body, unless it is a 67 Mustang, don't compare it to a car.
Or Shelby GT4. Okay, Shelby.
Yeah. Or my number one favorite car is the Ford Galaxy 500 XL Sunliner, but nobody knows what that is because it didn't do very well.
Yeah.
But its taillights look like rockets, so of course it like makes you think
you would.
It's a total nerd car.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, make good choices.
Yeah, don't do that. I'm going to create a very unhealthy obsession with some guy and his car at this point with this conversation. So I'm just going to move on. And manners are about making people feel comfortable, unlike this last, 4 minutes of our conversation here. So we're just going to go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.